前進
Red Ranger episode number 9. And here's the thing, my friends. When it comes to Red Ranger, the actual story of the show isn't what I'm here for. You know, I think that in many, if not all of my episode reviews, I have been over the moon, and I have been like really complimentary of the show. And more often than not, it's not because the actual content or the actual like show or the story is so enthralling and interesting. It's because the show leans so heavily into being super silly and super just dumb and super funny. And even last episode with like, you know, with our Egyptian girl who's apparently a common writer. I don't know anything about Sentai. I don't watch anything, but a lot of you in the comments are like, yo, I was like, yo, look at the Egyptian Ranger, and everyone's like, la, 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 la. And I was like, okay, dude, I don't know. I don't watch any of this stuff. I've never consumed writer, common, whatever. Like I watched the Tommy arc, you know what I mean? I watched Power Rangers when I was like a kid, and I watched, I mean, a little bit beyond, like beyond the Ivan Ooze movie. Like I watched a little bit beyond that, but like as far as like the actual Japanese like Sentai and everything, I've never consumed anything just because like I lost interest in that Ranger life pretty quick. I think like probably after the original Power Rangers, and I think maybe like 2 seasons, or maybe like two, yeah, like 2 variations of Rangers after that. I think when they had like the stars on their faces, I think after like that one is when I lost interest in Power Rangers content. So just going back, I don't know anything about Sentai stuff. I don't claim to know anything about any of that world. So if there are any call outs, like last week, there was a lot of call outs to certain shows and certain enemies. Like I don't know any of that. And what's really cool about the reach of this show is it seems like a lot of folks know a lot about that, and they're watching this because it's a blend of anime isekai, and it's a blend of that world, which a lot of people are really fans of, which I think is the coolest thing ever. Now, going back to how I started the video is when it comes to episode 9, I think something that was missing this episode was the silliness, the fun, and the funny. Because this episode definitely, like, we had 𝐒𝐻𝐴dra there, and 𝐒𝐻𝐴dra is looking like, I mean, she's looking bodacious, flabacious, mamacious, mama. Like, she's looking good. So she definitely, you know, always elevates the episode a bit. But the actual episode, like, because it was so context and story heavy, the thing that I love the most about the show, it just was kind of missing. Now, they gave us backstory for the elf girl and the guy that they're fighting. They give us context about, you know, how their relationship was originally and how they met and how, you know, her mask came to be and how she's been using her mask to kind of like, you know, before she inherited the power, she was using her mask to kind of like, you know, mask herself and pretend to be something that she's not because she's a certain type of character. And that totally makes sense. And we had a bunch of context with how they both originally, you know, got together as kids, and how this human guy was, you know, crossing barriers with you know, with elves. I think his name's Zero or something like that. You know, he was crossing barriers, and you know, he was the first one to actually like reach out to Rania. And he was the first one to really make an impact on her. And she was like used to be so warm and caring, and he didn't want to rule the world in this nature. And we got a lot of their backstory. And for the most part, my eyes didn't completely glaze over, but I wasn't exactly like, oh my God, like I can't wait to see the next, you know, I can't wait. Like I was pretty much just like watching the episode. And then at the end of the episode, we had like a twist where this Azir guy, you know, basically he manhandles her, and I guess, you know, she wasn't able to, you know, summon the power of bonds or whatever power she summons upon, you know, the Sphinx. And, you know, he mollywops her, and I guess he takes her tablet, and I guess he's able to now access her power. And in my mind, I guess, like I said, you guys are probably a lot more knowledgeable for the folks that are fans of the shows and the content and stuff, but like I didn't think that just because he takes her tablet, like in my head, these things are passed down and people are chosen. So in my head, it's like only she can wield that power unless she chooses to pass it on to somebody. But apparently it's really just like if she leaves her tablet at the night, like on her nightstand, and someone comes and takes it, they're the new Sphinx, whatever. I didn't think that would happen, but he takes over her power at the end. So not only does he have his power, which is based on like the seed or whatever, but then he has her power. So now Red and the group are gonna have an even bigger hill to climb there. But the positive is now that our Egyptian girl is here, we can get the Zords out and, maybe something can happen there. They're going to overcome it some way. It's just really weird that happened. So once again, it's just one of those things to where it definitely felt like this was just a mediocre, type episode. And it was mediocre. It was very mid, simply due to the fact that it was just not that funny. And I think, again, when the show leans heavily into silly and funny and outlandish, that's when I have the best time watching it. And that's when I come and I rave about it in my review. Now, this is going to be the first episode where that doesn't happen. So I think, hey, we're at 9 episodes in, right? This was episode number 9. Let me just triple check. This was episode number 9. So I think, hey, 1 out of 9 episodes not being that, I think is completely okay, because it was trying to convey a story. It was trying to tell us backstory. It was trying to make us care about Rania and about Azir's relationship. And if that's their goal, I think they accomplished that. It's just because it's such a different vibe, and it could be a little daunting, when you expect one thing, and then they're like, oh, let's shift it a little bit, right? Like if you have a show that's really comedy, that shifts into like, oh, this character died and now you got to cry about it. It can be super daunting to you. And it needs to be done a certain way. And sometimes you just don't nail it. And I just don't think they nailed it. And that's okay. Because next episode will probably be really good. We'll probably be back to the silly. They're going to overcome evil. They're going to use their bonds, the bonds of friendship or whatever. And they'll overcome evil. And I'm sure it'll be really silly. I'm sure next episode will be fantastic. So I know it might be blasphemous for some who are especially, who are now pretty big fans of the show, but I just think this one was just a fine episode. I think this was another episode of Red Ranger. Very 6 out of 10 episode, I think. I think it nailed what it was trying to do. But in doing so, it lost a little bit of the thing that makes it the best. Or one of the best shows of the season. So, yeah. Anyways, I'll be here next week. Again, 𝐜𝐻𝐸𝐻𝐸. Finger looking good over there. So, yeah. Definitely excited for next week. And it's okay that this episode wasn't a fantastic 9 out of 10 episode. I think it happened. So, yeah, my friends, I'll see you guys next week. Stay up. Have a good weekend. Peace out.